With the G20 process set to kick off in just a couple of days, the focus is actually on what some of the key deliverables may be. One of India's key focal points is to include African nations as part of, who knows, perhaps an expanded G20, a G21. Joining us now, a very special guest, the spokesperson of the President of Nigeria. Thanks very much for being with us. It is an exciting prospect, isn't it? An expanded G20 with African representation.
Absolutely. And it really goes to show the commitment of His Excellency Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the involvement and partnership with the African continent, that he had issued a special invitation to the Nigerian President, His Excellency Bola Tinubu. And of course, we represent over 1 billion African citizens in this regard. And our position is that as the largest democracy in Africa, the largest economy in Africa, it's only natural that Nigeria, above any other really, would be eventually accepted into the G20. But our position is that the notion that the G20 would accept the African Union as a bloc, we believe is a critical mistake in judgment. We believe it is disrespectful to the potency of the Nigerian economy and the Nigerian geopolitical influence in the region. And we believe that our friends such as India would be best placed to ensure that the weight of regional heavyweights who have similar values are respected in this process.
Yeah. One of the big problems, of course, is climate change and sustainable growth and the entire issue of funding. In fact, statistics which have come out today indicate that June, July and August are the hottest recorded months ever. Therefore, when it comes to climate finance, do you believe that several other nations, perhaps in the developing world, need to do more?
Without question. I think we have, particularly in our sub-region, we've been advancing very aggressively the broad-based use of solar technology as an alternative means of energizing our industries as well as our homes and businesses. So we are leading the way in that regard. We also believe that we have to leverage, particularly the global south, led by countries like India, really do need to gather a consensus opinion of the global south and say, look, the West, for example, cannot continue to make these huge pledges in the hundreds of billions of dollars to support the developing world in terms of the adaptation to green energy, and then when it comes time to pay out, they're not to be found. That's something that we think India should take a lead on. That's something that Africa is certainly passionate about, and that's something that I think this G20 presents an opportunity to address.
Our Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has had an opportunity to meet the President. Do you believe that the defence relationship between India and Nigeria could expand?
I have no doubt that it will expand. And the reason why is His Excellency President Bola Tinubu is someone who is very much a respecter of His Excellency Prime Minister Modi. He sees Modi as a great reformer, a transformational leader of India. And we believe that there are a lot of lessons for the Nigerian nation and Africa to learn from what Modi has achieved. And so in line with that, we are having discussions at the moment over a defense agreement that will be worth over $1 billion to essentially boost the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria, DICON, to get to about 40% self-sufficiency in defense equipment and local manufacturing of such in Nigeria by 2027 with the cooperation of the Indian government. So there are a lot of partnerships that we're looking forward to advancing here.
Are there any specific weapon systems that Nigeria is looking at? For example, the light combat aircraft Tejas is something which has been discussed.
Yes, absolutely. That's one category. Another category would be the transfer of knowledge and technical know-how on things like advanced drone technology, both weaponized and non-weaponized. We also have an interest in the development of more advanced armored personnel carriers and things of that nature. We believe that the Indian military defense complex is one that we can partner with for mutual benefit, and that's something that President Bola Tinubu has already expressed his intent to leverage on here at the G20.
A final point, Indian investment in Nigeria, tremendous potential, different sectors. What is your message to Indian business?
Well, let me say that there's a saying in Nigeria that aside from the Nigerian government, the second largest employer of labor in Nigeria are Indian companies. Indians are our friends. Our Indian business people are some of our most cherished partners. And what we've seen over the last 2 days is His Excellency President Bola Tinubu has struck new investment agreements worth up to $14 billion, as reported by Reuters, over the course of the last few days across sectors. We believe we can scale that up even further, and we are looking forward to creating the enabling environment for Indian businesses across sectors such as oil and gas, agriculture, and others to be able to very willingly invest their money in Nigeria, given the fact that we have the massive market we have, given the fact that we have a highly educated population, and given the fact that we have previous experience with them.
Wonderful speaking to you, and thank you very much. I hope you have a great G20 yourself. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it, a look at the relationship between India and Nigeria, what some of the key expectations are as the G20 process gets underway.